buttercup, you're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall, won't stop till I get enough.
All right, let's dive into this one. Monday Night Football, Bengals versus Cowboys. We're going to break down all the action, give you the story behind the headlines. You know we had that last-minute touchdown. The blocked punt recovered for a touchdown. More lead changes than you could even count. Plus, a whole Simpsons tie-in thing happening at the same time.
Yeah, it was really a night to remember, a really unique event, to see how wild this game got. We really have to start before the game even kicked off. The Bengals were 5-7. Meaning their playoff hopes were hanging by a thread. But the interesting thing is, Vegas actually had them as slight favorites, even with the Bengals' historically bad record in Dallas.
So already a tough situation for the Bengals. What was it about their history in Dallas that has so many people predicting a Cowboys win?
Well, it wasn't just one or two losses. We're talking years of struggles in Dallas. Some analysts were pointing to bad coaching decisions in past games. Others were focused on specific matchups, where the Cowboys' defense just seemed to shut down the Bengals' offense.
Yeah.
I even heard some people saying that there might be a psychological factor, with the Bengals playing tight every time they're in Dallas.
So you've got the Bengals facing history, coming off a rough season, but Vegas still gives them the edge. Then you throw in the Simpsons tie-in game happening at the same time. Feels like everything was set up to make this game as unpredictable as possible.
Oh, absolutely. It just added to the excitement of the whole event. And that feeling definitely didn't go away when the Cowboys came out strong. Scored a touchdown on that opening drive.
Yeah, that had to be a huge blow to the Bengals, especially with all the pressure they were already under. But you know, if we've learned one thing about this Bengals team, they don't back down easily. How did they respond to that early deficit?
They answered right back with a play we've come to expect. Burrow to Chase in the end zone for a touchdown. That connection, that would be a big theme throughout the night, in fact.
Yeah.
They connected for 2 touchdowns in this game.
I mean, that Burrow-Chase connection is just special. Every time they're on the field, you just get the feeling that something explosive is about to happen. But it wasn't just the passing game.
Sure.
Chase Brown had a huge game as well, right?
Oh, he was phenomenal. Chase Brown was putting on a clinic out there, racking up yards, both rushing and receiving. I think what makes him so dangerous is his versatility. He can just bulldoze his way through defenders. Then on the next play, he'll slip out of the backfield and make a crucial catch. Defenses just don't know how to handle him.
Okay, so Burrow and Chase connecting for touchdowns, Chase Brown making plays all over the field. Sounds like the Bengals offense was in a groove. But I remember this game being back and forth, with the lead changing hands multiple times. What were some of the key moments that really shifted the momentum?
Well, there were a few turning points. The one that really sticks out is that blocked punt recovered for a touchdown by the Bengals. This wasn't just a lucky bounce. It was a perfectly executed play. That really flipped the script.
I bet that had the crowd going wild. Let's break this down a bit. Why was that blocked punt so significant? Obviously, it was 6 points on the board. But it was more than that.
Way more than that. It was the timing. It was the momentum swing. And honestly, it was the strategic implications. Remember, the Bengals had been struggling to contain the Cowboys' offense. This play just gave them such a huge jolt of energy. It also forced the Cowboys to become more conservative, now knowing that any punt could potentially turn into a disaster.
Okay, so we can all agree the blocked punt was a major turning point. But this game went down to the wire, right? Can you take us through those final minutes and how the Bengals finally sealed the deal?
Oh, it was a nail-biter. The Cowboys. They were desperate to block another punt in those final minutes, hoping to recreate what the Bengals did. But this time, the Bengals recovered, setting up Chase's game-sealing touchdown. Just a dramatic finish. That really sums up how wild this game was.
That final touchdown by Chase really put an exclamation point on an already incredible game. But, you know, it's easy to get caught up in all the offensive highlights and kind of forget about the other side of the ball. The Bengals' defense played a huge role in this win, especially considering they were missing some key guys due to injuries.
Absolutely. The defense deserves a lot of credit. Holding that Cowboys team to just 20 points is no small feat, especially when you think about all the offensive weapons they have.
It wasn't just about limiting points, though. The Bengals' D made some huge plays. When you look at the stats, they forced the Cowboys to punt 5 times in a game that came down to the wire. Those stops were massive.
You know, no question. And then there was that interception in the second quarter, that turnover. Not only did it stop a potential Cowboys scoring drive, but it also led to a Bengals touchdown. Just shows how one play on defense can completely change the game.
Yeah, like they say. Defense wins championships, or at least it helps you get a big win
Yeah.
when your playoff hopes are on the line. Speaking of which, This victory puts the Bengals right back in the playoff picture. They're still facing an uphill battle, but at least they're still in the game.
Yeah, for real. It's a testament to their resilience. I mean, remember, they started the season 0-3. A lot of people had written them off.
Yeah.
But they just kept fighting. Now they're in a position to make a run.
Yeah, it's a good reminder. But things can change quickly in the NFL. Just a few weeks ago, everyone was doubting the Bengals. Now they're beating top teams like the Cowboys.
It's interesting. I think this win could be a real turning point for them, not just for their playoff chances, but also for their confidence. To beat a team like the Cowboys on the road, that has to give them a huge boost.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's a statement win. That lets the rest of the league know that the Bengals are for real, and they did it without their starting quarterback. That really shows you their depth and how well they can adapt.
No doubt about it. It's a testament to the coaching staff, too. They've got this team ready for anything.
Okay, so we've talked about the highlights, the key players, and what this win means for the Bengals season. But there's one more thing I want to bring up. That Simpsons tie-in game. How cool was that?
It was definitely unique. It definitely added a whole other level of entertainment. It was smart from a marketing perspective, too, tapping into that nostalgia and using the popularity of The Simpsons.
Well, I'll admit it, I'm a huge Simpsons fan. So seeing Bart Simpson in a Bengals jersey, that was pretty awesome.
It's just cool how pop culture and sports can come together, sometimes in really unexpected ways.
Yeah, and thinking back to all those pregame predictions, kind of crazy how many experts got this one wrong. They underestimated the Bengals, and the Bengals definitely made them pay for it.
Yeah, well, upsets are a big part of what makes the NFL so exciting. Any given Sunday, or Monday night, I guess, anything can happen. That's why we love this game.
You got that right. Now I want to turn the conversation over to you, the listener. What stood out to you the most from this Bengals-Cowboys matchup? Was it the Bengals' ability to bounce back, the big defensive plays, or maybe even the Simpsons tie-in?
Or was it something else entirely? We'd love to hear what you thought, because the best conversations come from sharing different points of view.
As we've been talking about this Bengals win, I keep coming back to those Vegas odds. Like, they favored the Bengals at first, then the odds shifted throughout the week. And in the end, the Bengals pull off what some are calling an upset. It makes you think. Do pregame predictions even matter in a league as unpredictable as the NFL?
It's a good point. I think it shows how much of the game comes down to the players. Odds makers have these algorithms. They look at all the historical data, but they can't account for everything. The passion, the unexpected moments, even just the will to win. Those are the things that really decide the outcome.
Yeah, it's true. And any given Sunday, or Monday night, I guess. But this win wasn't just about beating the odds. It really changes things for the Bengals season. They were this close to being out of the playoff race, and now they're right back in it.
They just never gave up. Facing a tough opponent on the road, they could have easily folded, but they came together and played great. The rest of their division has to be worried now.
The Bengals are known for their offense. Burrow and Chase are one of the best duos in the league. But this win felt different. It wasn't just about scoring a bunch of points.
For sure. If you look past the touchdowns, you see that the defense really stepped up. They shut down the Cowboys' offense, forced punts, created turnovers. That's what shifted the game in the Bengals' favor.
We can't forget about special teams either. That blocked punt for a touchdown, that was huge. It shows how important special teams can be, especially in close games.
Absolutely. People underestimate special teams all the time.
So what's the big takeaway from this Bengals win? I think it shows they can handle anything. They faced adversity and didn't back down. They beat the odds. They have depth. They gave their fans something to cheer about.
Yeah, and we can't leave out the Simpsons tie-in. It was just a fun night. It reminds us that sports should be entertaining too.
Well said. We've covered a lot of ground here, from pregame predictions to the impact of the Bengals win. But before we wrap up, I have one last question for you, the listener. Knowing what you know now, how do you think this win changes things for the Bengals? Will they keep this momentum going? Or will they fall back into old habits?
That's the question. Only time will tell. But this Bengals team have the talent, and they've got the heart. They could really shake things up in the NFL.
Couldn't agree more. That's something worth watching. And that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for joining us as we dove into the Bengals' Monday Night Football victory over the Cowboys. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep diving deep.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.